What if forgiveness is not mercy for the enemy, but freedom for the soul? What if forgiveness is not weakness, not forgetting, not excusing, not pretending the wound did not happen? What if forgiveness is a weapon, a blade that cuts the invisible cord between your life and the one who harmed you? What if the most dangerous act of spiritual warfare is refusing to let another person's darkness live inside you? Many people hear the word forgiveness and feel resistance because they think it means surrender. They think it means the offender wins. They think it means justice disappears. They think it means returning to the cage. But deeper forgiveness is not submission. It is sovereignty. Tonight, we enter the hidden power of forgiveness. Forgiveness as spiritual warfare. When someone wounds you, the damage does not end with the event. The event enters memory. Memory enters the body. The body learns tension. The mind repeats the scene. The heart builds armor. And long after the person is gone, the wound may still rule. It shapes your reactions. It edits your trust. It trains your nervous system. It speaks through your anger. This is how pain becomes a hidden ruler. The person who harmed you may no longer be present, but inside, the argument continues. You replay it. You answer them. You defend yourself. You imagine justice. You carry the courtroom in your chest, and the soul grows tired. Forgiveness begins when you realize, I do not want this person living rent-free in my inner kingdom. I want my throne back. This does not mean what happened was acceptable. It does not mean you reconcile. It does not mean you remove boundaries. It does not mean trust returns automatically. Forgiveness is not the same as access. You can forgive and still walk away. You can forgive and still protect yourself. You can forgive and still name the truth. You can forgive and still demand accountability. The spiritual mistake is thinking forgiveness requires self-abandonment. It does not. Real forgiveness requires self-return. What is unforgiveness really holding on to? Sometimes it holds the hope that the past can be changed. If I replay it enough, maybe it will end differently. If I stay angry enough, maybe the pain will be honored. If I never forgive, maybe I keep power. But often, resentment is not power. It is a chain that feels like a sword. You think you are holding the weapon, but the weapon is holding you. That is the trap. Forgiveness breaks the loop, not by denying pain, by removing pain from the throne. In Christian mysticism, forgiveness is central because the heart cannot become a temple while hatred is seated inside it. Hatred may feel righteous. Sometimes anger may even be necessary at first. Anger says, something was wrong. A boundary was crossed. This mattered. But anger is meant to awaken dignity, not become a permanent home. When anger hardens into identity, it begins to feed on the person carrying it. The wound becomes a god, and whatever you worship rules you. This is why forgiveness is warfare, because it fights the force that wants to turn your injury into your identity. It says, I was wounded, but I am not the wound. I was betrayed, but I am not betrayal. I was harmed, but I will not become harm. The darkness stops with me. That sentence is power. Not dramatic power, not performative power, deep power. The power to end a cycle. Without forgiveness, pain travels. A wounded person wounds another. A humiliated person humiliates another. A betrayed person stops trusting the innocent. A fearful person controls everyone nearby. This is how darkness reproduces itself. Not magically, mechanically. One unhealed reaction at a time. Forgiveness interrupts the machine. It refuses to pass the poison forward. But forgiveness cannot be forced. It is not a slogan, not a spiritual performance, not something you say because you want to appear evolved. The body may need time. The truth may need to be spoken. The grief may need to move. The boundary may need to be built. Forgiveness is not pretending you are above pain. It is walking through pain without letting it define your essence. So how does forgiveness actually begin? First, with honesty. This hurt me. This changed me. This was wrong. No decoration, no minimization. Second, with separation. What happened to me is not who I am. Their action is not my identity. Their darkness is not my destiny. Third, with release. I release the demand that the past become different. I release the need to keep drinking poison to prove I was harmed. I release the inner courtroom that never gives me peace. Fourth, with sovereignty. I choose what enters my heart now. That is spiritual warfare. Not fighting ghosts, taking back territory inside the soul. Many people think warfare is aggression, but some battles are won by refusal. Refusing to hate, refusing to obsess, refusing to replay, refusing to become the mirror of what harmed you. This kind of refusal is not passive. It is fierce. Forgiveness is the soul saying no to possession by pain. There is a reason the figure of Christ, forgiving from the place of suffering, is so intense. Not because harm is trivial, because the highest heart refuses to let violence define its final response. That is not weakness. That is mastery. Most people can love when they are loved. Most people can be kind when they are safe. Most people can be peaceful when no one touches the wound. But the awakened heart is tested when it has a reason to close and still chooses not to become darkness. That choice is revolutionary. It breaks the ancient chain, the chain of revenge, the chain of inherited hatred, the chain of pain repeating through families, tribes, and histories. Forgiveness does not erase justice. It purifies the soul's relationship to justice. Without forgiveness, justice can become revenge with better language. With forgiveness, justice can become clear, firm, and clean. No hatred needed. No inner slavery required. Just truth. Just boundary. Just release. This is the higher strength. To remember without being ruled. To protect without hatred. To walk away without bitterness. To bless your own future more than you curse your past. Forgiveness gives the soul back its future. Because resentment keeps consciousness facing backward. It binds attention to the moment of injury. Forgiveness turns the soul forward again. It says, my life is no longer organized around what happened. My life belongs to what is becoming. That is freedom. Not instant, not easy, not sentimental. Freedom. So ask yourself, who still owns space inside you? What old wound still edits your reactions? What argument are you still having in the secret room of the mind? What pain has been sitting on the throne too long? Forgiveness does not mean opening the door to the person again. It means removing them from the altar. And when the altar is cleared, the heart can become sacred again. This is why forgiveness is spiritual warfare. Because the deepest battlefield is not outside you. It is the place where pain tries to become identity. And the soul answers, no, I will not become what harmed me. I will not keep the chain alive. I will not let this wound be my God. I choose freedom. Have you ever experienced forgiveness as power? A release that gave you your life back? A boundary that freed the heart? A moment when you stopped letting the past rule the present? Share it in the comments and subscribe to Mystic Pathways, because the visible world is only the surface, and the soul becomes free when it takes back the throne.